even if you've been waiting and wondering for something to happen and if God forgot your name, I'm here to tell you this morning He hasn't. See, the big thing is you're not stuck at all. You're being strengthened. First and foremost, this morning, I want to welcome everybody in. If it's your first time here with us and you're doing it for the first time, I want to let you know you picked a great Sunday to choose. Because today we're going to learn what to do when heaven's quiet. Sometimes we say our prayers and we wish for something, not even wish, we pray for something to happen and nothing moves. We're doing everything right, we're doing everything we can and nothing happens. See, I'll let you know here at Four Winds Revival, we're a family, all of us. Learning to walk by faith, not by sight, not by speed, but by the Spirit. See, I want to let you know you're in the right place this morning. You're here for a reason, even if you're here online with us for joining for the first time or here as a first-time visitor, welcome. We're glad to see you. And even if you've been waiting and wondering for something to happen and if God forgot your name, I'm here to tell you this morning He hasn't. See, the big thing is you're not stuck at all. You're being strengthened. You're not stuck at all. You're being strengthened. See, last Sunday, we talked about what happens when God tests your faith. We saw that He doesn't test faith to break it. He tests it to build it. See, I'll tell you one thing, as soon as I opened my mouth on that Sunday about faith on trial, I can tell you, trials definitely came my family's way. I'll be honest with you. Our babies didn't want to sleep at all this week. Getting up, tired, going to work. My wife having so much on her plate, starting a brand new job, also juggling this ministry at the same time, kind of overwhelmed her. And it goes back to sometimes us as people, we have all this stuff on our heart that we want to do and the Lord's put to us. But it goes back to counting that cost. And that cost was a pretty great cost to have everything juggled at the same time. Lucky enough, I married a perfect woman who helped me out, and she's definitely that rib bone that I needed. See, last week we walked through the purpose, pattern, and pressure, and product of testing. And we learned that promotion always follows proving. Now I hope and I pray that me and my family has proved to the Lord that, hey, we can handle the pressure, we can handle this test that He's throwing our way. And if you faced a test this week, know He wasn't just trying to break your faith, He wasn't trying to break you, He was just trying to prove you. They say, but sometimes after the proving, there's a silence. There's not a magical door opening up. The top of Mount Sinai doesn't catch on fire with a pillar. It's just silence. And sometimes that can be the hardest part. But I want to let you know that's where many of us are right now. We're in that silent period. That time where we've done our proving, we've went through our test, we have our testimony, and it's quiet. We've passed the test, we've trusted in the Lord, because we built our house on the rock, Jesus Christ, right? We've prayed, now we wait. Sometimes the greatest test isn't the fire. It's the silence afterwards. So this week, we're speaking on something called the waiting room of faith. See, I was approached by someone in our congregation last week that she went through something similar to that after a pretty hard loss. So today what we're going to do is we're going to step into what I like to call, and what she let me know that she learned pretty heavily on, is the waiting room of faith. Because even the strongest believers get weary when the answers don't come quick. Because we, like I said in the previous times we've spoken, we've sat down, we grow up in an age of instant gratification. Post a picture online, get likes. Want to get skinny? Take a drug, get skinny. Get skinny, don't have to do anything. Don't have to work out. Ozempic can do it for you. See, but the big thing is you can trust God's plan. You can trust God's plan, but it's hard when you don't know the timing. Because we love control. We love knowing exactly when something's going to happen for us. But I came to tell somebody this morning, God does some of His deepest work not while you're running, but when you're waiting. So today's verse that we're really going to focus on, and obviously I'm going to jump around the Bible because I love the Word. That's what we're built on. The main verse we're going to be focused on is Isaiah 40, verse 31. Isaiah 40, verse 31. But those who trust in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on the wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not faint. See, waiting isn't wasted when you're worshiping. So even in that period of waiting, like last week I had a gentleman who actually donated most of the stuff from his church. He works for the Postal Service. He came by and he saw me on the Monday, and now I was struggling that Monday. It wasn't too fun. I wasn't having the best time of my life. I was struggling. I sit in a booth all day by myself, no one to talk to except people who drive by. No one to talk to me. They just want to go in and do their business inside the school. So I just sit there. So I was sitting and I was mulling over everything that had gone on that Sunday, how our computers didn't work, our Wi-Fi broke up, and everything just didn't seem to fall into place like it's supposed to. He came up to me and said, "Jacob, I can tell something's bothering you." And in that moment I said, "Man, I'm not being a very good representation. I'm not showing how a man of God should walk right now." So I took a moment and I sat back and I thought, I said, I'm in a waiting period. I passed the test on Sunday. I still preached like I was preaching to a crowd of 500. I still preached like I was on fire for Him, because I am. I passed the test, but I'm still being tested in this. So in that moment, I made a decision that no matter what, how I felt, I'm going to be happy. So that Tuesday he didn't come in. We actually had the day off because it snowed, if you want to call it that. Snow-mageddon, November 2025, let me tell you this morning. Better have gotten your milk and bread sandwiches, because if you didn't, all the people from Florida had just moved up here by mom. So, I'll tell you, that Wednesday I came in and I made a decision that I was going to smile, no matter how hard it was to smile and find happiness in the day. And I did. I smiled and I laughed and I joked. He didn't come, he didn't see me, but everybody that came by heard a really corny joke, so I asked you the same question I asked everybody that day. They had an answer before they got to go see their kids. Simple question. You ready? Why doesn't a crab share? Because he's shellfish. I got a lot of eye rolls from the younger guys, the younger parents that came through, because they're like, "That's something my dad would say." But hey, I guess it comes with the territory. So the big thing is that anchor verse. You can also look in Psalms 27:14. It's just as good. It says here, it says, "Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord." So even if you're going through a hard time, just think of that verse. Because even if you're in that storm, or even after that storm and it's quiet, wait on Him. He's working. He's not doing nothing in the background. He's working for you, for your benefit. See, waiting isn't wasted, like I said, when you're worshiping. And that worship can be anything. It doesn't have to be singing. It doesn't have to be dancing. It doesn't have to be yelling and screaming. It could just be a simple smile when you don't want to smile. Because someone's going to look at you and say, "Why are you smiling? You just had the worst day of your life. You got a flat tire on the way to work. You were late to work because of it. It rained on you, so your hair's all frizzy and messed up. How are you able to smile, laugh, and joke?" Well, there's your opportunity. There's your foot in the door right there. Well, it's not me smiling. It's Him in me. You just introduce somebody to the Lord. You just produced amazing fruit. I think that's one of the most important things when it comes to following Christ and being a true follower of Him and not just a fan of Him, is when you're having those rough days, you're able to smile and you're able to laugh. So, like I've said, we've all been through the trial. Now we're learning to trust Him, learning to trust Him after that trial. Because in that trial, it was hard. It wasn't easy. And I'll tell you, the same God who tested your faith last week is the one who's teaching you patience this week. And it's like having a kid, they really want that new toy. They saw it, they already picked it out and circled it in the book, that on the Amazon books. They no longer get the Belt JCPenney book. That was my favorite thing to do during Christmas time. Now you're learning that patience, that I gotta wait. I gotta wait to get that gift. He's teaching you that patience because He is our Father, even though we're adults. And it's just like a good doctor, right? He doesn't leave you in the waiting room forever. He doesn't just sit you in there and say, all right, good luck. Just hold on to that broken arm. Hold on to that bloody nose. Hold on to that headache. Your Father isn't ignoring you. He's preparing the room you're about to walk into. He's making sure it's perfect for you. That door is already open for you. See, delay doesn't mean denial. Delay never means denial. It means development. A true development of your faith.
See, when God finally opens the door, you'll thank Him for every minute you spent outside of it. You'll thank Him for the moments that you sat and you were waiting. And you were crying and you were upset, you were sad. You will thank Him for that because you finally realized what He was doing. Look, I prayed for my wife to be a part of my life. I prayed for a woman. I've prayed for other girls that I thought were going to marry me. He said no, anyway. I finally was blessed with her. I prayed for a baby. He's finally blessed with mine. And I had to sit and wait 2 weeks before I ever could really hold her. I love that child more than I thought I could love anything in this world. So it's one of those things that I waited. I trusted in Him. And even though in that moment I didn't know why I was going through it, why I had to be the one that had to suffer through those moments. But it made sense once I got there. It made total sense once I was there. See, the wait isn't empty, it's a womb. Something's growing in you that's not ready yet. He's not making you wait to withhold. He's making you wait so what's coming can withstand. So it's going to stand all the tests, all the hardships, all the storms life will throw at it. What God grows slowly, He sustains securely. So understand that. So now we know that we know the purpose of the wait. It's not a waste of time. It's divine timing. But how do we respond in the middle of it? When we're right there in the wait, when we're sitting in the wait that's hard. When the clock's ticking and heaven's quiet. When it feels like your prayers are landing on deaf ears. So let's talk about the posture of waiting. How we should be in that season. See, waiting isn't passive, it's posture. So to know that waiting is not passive, it's posture. Waiting on God doesn't mean sitting still. It means standing firm. It means standing firm in your faith. Waiting is worship. Waiting is trust. Waiting is obedience in slow motion. The posture of your heart and the waiting determines the power you walk in afterwards. So however you have that heart posture in when you're sitting in that season of, I'm not going to lie, it feels almost like you're in another storm in that waiting room. But it always determines how you're going to walk afterwards. How strong that faith's truly going to be after that storm's gone, after the silence. What you think is silence is gone. See, waiting isn't what you do, it's how you do it. Waiting isn't what you do, it's how you do it. See, the first posture I'll tell you about is stillness. Psalms 37:7 says it plainly, be still before the Lord, wait patiently for Him. Stillness is not inactivity, it's intentional quiet. You ever sat outside and listened to the birds go still? Those birds they're not flying around, not looking around, not trying to survive. They got quiet on purpose. They got silent and still on purpose to make sure there was no danger around. It's intentional quiet. It means shutting off the noise long enough to hear the whisper. Because I'll tell you, the Lord doesn't always come in like in Pentecost where He's shaking the room, burning bushes, and light the whole mountain on fire. Right? Most of the time He's that small whisper. And if you don't intentionally shut everything off and sit, you'll never hear. You'll never hear that whisper. See, most of us aren't waiting on God. We're just moving too fast to recognize His answer. We're moving too fast. We want to go to the next part of my life. I want to go to the next journey. I want to see the next thing that's going to happen. I want the next big cow. But you gotta slow down. You gotta intentionally be still so you can hear His answer. Because sometimes that answer will be no. Or maybe not no, or just not now. Not now. See, sometimes God won't speak loud. You just have to get quiet. Gotta get quiet. Slow down. Listen to Him. Get to your quiet place. He talks about that all the time. Find your secret place. That's where He'll be waiting for you. So it's like every day I get off of work. I have my boys in the car, driving home. They get out, they go into the house. When they go into the house, I always wait about 5-10 minutes. Don't look at my phone, don't look at anything I need to press from the day. And I slow down. So I'm ready to go inside, not with everything I dealt with at work, or everything I dealt with one of my sons doing in school. But I'm ready to deal with my entire family as a father should. And every morning I make sure I have a moment where I just share that special time. That's my sacred time. I'm protective over it as I am protective over my date nights with my wife. Right? That's that time in the mornings for me and God. That time in the morning, that quiet time is for me and Him to have a conversation, to talk, and for me to hear Him talk back to me. And in those moments when you're sitting there, you'll hear Him clearly speak to you. And it might not be a voice, an audible sound. It might not be somebody saying, "Hey, dude, you're doing awesome. Whoop, whoop. Keep doing what you're doing." Right? It might just be a tug in your heart. It might be a point to a scripture that you needed to hear that day. But you'll hear Him. He'll work. So here's another big one, which is kind of hard. That second posture you need to have when you're in that waiting room is surrender. Now, surrender is a hard one to do because we all love to grip that steering wheel of life as hard as we can, and we all forgot about the Carrie Underwood song about Jesus taking the wheel. Sometimes you got to let go of it. He's got control. See, Exodus 14:14 says it pretty plain. The Lord will fight for you. You need only be still. Think about that. That's the big man upstairs saying to you. That's Jesus Christ. He's saying that to you right there. Hey, don't stop fighting. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to pray more. You don't have to jump up and down. You don't have to go to battle. You don't have to put a sword on your side. No, you don't have to step up in front and give testimony. I just need you to be still. And I'll fight your battle for you. See, waiting becomes war when we keep trying to fix what God told us to give Him. Think about that. How many times do you try to fix something in your life, make it better? But every time you tried something different, every time you tried to make it better, it just got worse. It reminds me of the time I tried to make, it reminds me, it's a funny story. I'll be fast here. My wife, when we first got married, I love sausage gravy. I love sausage gravy. Yeah. So one day she woke up and she's like, "I'm gonna make him some sausage gravy." She made me some sausage gravy. She never tried it because she didn't like sausage gravy. She puts it in front of me. I'm like, "All right, sweet biscuits and gravy. I love me some biscuits." I put that sucker in my mouth. Good Lord, there was so much salt in that thing. I could have been a stick of jerky after eating it. She's like, "What, does it need more salt?" I'm like, "I don't know." She puts more salt in it. And I'm like, "Good Lord, no more salt. No more salt." That's just like that. Think about it. She was trying to fix something she never tried. She didn't even like. But she's a woman. She's going to cook. I'm going to tell you, she's a great cook. Just her sausage gravy that time was...
We fixed it since.
We fixed it since then. She's done a whole lot better.
See, here's the big thing. Surrender means, Lord, if you don't do it, it won't get done. Think about that. That's true surrender. It also means if you don't open the door, I won't force it. How many times have we forced ourselves into a relationship or forced ourselves into a career that we didn't feel called to do? We forced that door open, and God's like, I didn't want to do that. I'm not good. And you're like, God, please make this job better. He's like, I didn't want you to go and do that in the first place. Why doesn't He love me the right way? Well, I told you not to take Him in the first place. Right? If you say wait, or if you say wait, I won't wonder. So if the Lord's looking at you right now and something's going on in your life and He said wait, just be still. No, He's fighting your battle in the background. He's going to open that door for you. Don't try to force your way into it yet, because you might not be ready for it. You might feel ready for it. You might be right there with the sledgehammer to bust the door down yourself. Just wait. He's got you. Surrender isn't losing control. It's admitting you never had it. Understand that. Surrender is not losing control. It's admitting you never had it in the first place. It's admitting the fact that, yeah, I just said Jesus take the wheel, but He's always had the wheel ever since He had it. See, waiting is a battlefield where self dies and trust lives. See, and the third posture leads us right into the third posture, strengthening. Isaiah 40:31, like we said at the very beginning today, right? But those who trust in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on the wings like eagles. They will run and not become weary. They will walk and not faint. And that's not me telling you to go out now and go join a 5K if you never ran. I can't promise you won't fall over. But I am saying that the Lord's on your side in the battle that you're doing. See, waiting isn't draining, it's strengthening. It's going to make you stronger in your faith and your relationship with Him. It's going to make that fire grow in your chest. Because real strength isn't built when you're running, it's built when you're resting and you're resisting the urge to run, when you're resisting that moment to take off and go. Like, this is not good, I need to do more, I need to do more, I need to do more. No. See, every time you wait with faith, your spiritual muscles grow. So it's just like you go to the gym. Everybody here's probably worked out. Everybody's probably ran before, and you're sore. If you went and ran again, you would not be building muscle. You'd be destroying the muscle that was trying to build. He knows you went through a battle. He knows you went through that test. He understands that. He's literally telling you, take your rest day. Take your rest days and just wait. Because He knows when that door does open, it's going to open another door to some more tests. It's not like you're going to get that amazing opportunity, just it's going to be given to you, and He's not going to be like, all right, let me make sure you still know who gave that to you. Because imagine if you just went through that battle, you're exhausted spiritually, and He throws you right into another great opportunity, and then something hits you right in the face. That next storm hits you right in the face. He needed you to be ready. He needed you to rest first. See, eagles don't flap in storms, they glide. They just open their wings up and let the wind take them. Waiting gives you those wings. See, waiting doesn't weaken you. Rushing does. And number 4 is expectation. Number 4 is expectation. Think about that. So we're strengthened. It's another heart full of heart posture. Stillness. Heart posture now. Expectation. Psalms 5:3. I'll lay my request before you and wait expectantly. See, expectation is faith leaning forward. See, don't get it confused with the New Age preachers who say that, hey, if you pray about it hard enough and say it 3 times in the morning and 6 times in the middle of the afternoon, 3 times before you go to bed, you'll manifest it and it'll happen. That's not expectation. That's not what he's talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. Expectation is saying, Lord, I prayed about it, I laid it at your feet, and if it's your will to make it happen, it will happen. If it is your will, it will come to pass. It's saying, God, I don't know how or when, but I know you will. I don't know how or when, but I know you will. Just like this morning, I didn't know if I was going to have just you guys here this morning, the whole congregation feeling. I believe in my heart of hearts one day we're going to have standing room only in here, and we're going to have to move out of here, go somewhere else. We're going to get bigger, everything. I'm expecting of that. I can't make it happen. He will. So I'm leaning forward into that future. See, it says, God, I don't know how. Expectation keeps those eyes open so you don't miss what God is doing while you wait. See, waiting without expectation is just surviving. Waiting with expectation is faith. Now, I'll talk a little bit about what happened. You guys waited with expectation that one day you'd hold a beautiful little baby. Y'all had to sit in the waiting room for a little bit. He did not only come through, but he blessed you with somebody that's just a glow. I wish my baby would be like, hey, Daddy, I can't sleep at 2 o'clock tonight. I gotta go to the potty. Talk about that, dude. You waited expectantly. You knew he was going to bless you with that baby. You knew exactly in that moment he was going to bless you with a baby. And he's blessed you with a smart one and an easy one to take care of. See, waiting without expectation, like I said, is just survive. Waiting with expectation is faith. Your faith is rewarded in such beautiful fruit. So it's like waiting at a restaurant, right? The difference between waiting with frustration and waiting with expectation is whether you believe something good is actually coming out of the kitchen. It's like sitting there and be like, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna like this food, but I guess I'll wait this 30-minute time to get the table. No one does that. See, if you can trust the kitchen at a restaurant, 5-star, 4-star, 1-star, 2-star, I can't see surely why you can't trust God and know that He's doing a whole lot better than a kitchen at a restaurant. See, stillness, surrender, strengthening expectation. This is the posture that turns waiting seasons into worship seasons. This is how Isaiah says, you rise up with wings like eagles. Not by rushing, but by waiting. Like I said, in that storm, those eagles aren't flapping those wings as hard as they can. They're just soaring. When your posture is right, the wait becomes holy ground. So if that's the posture of your heart in that waiting season that you need, what exactly does God do while you wait? While we're sitting there in that season of waiting, when it feels like you're praying every day, you don't hear that whisper. When you're praying every day, you haven't had that promise come through yet. Well, while we're sitting in that waiting room, heaven is moving behind the scenes. And they're moving fast, they're moving hard, they're trying their hardest to make everything go like it needs to. See, what does God do? Honestly, while we're waiting. So, Isaiah 64:4. No eye has seen a God who acts on behalf of those who wait for Him. See, just because you can't see Him working doesn't mean He stopped. Just because you can't see His hands, like in the womb, in the secret place He speaks of. I knitted you together in that secret place. Just because you can't see inside that womb doesn't mean He didn't knit that baby together. He's arranging conversations, opening doors you don't know exist, and closing doors you didn't know would destroy you. Know that. He's opening those doors. He's causing people to have conversations about what you're talking about, having conversations about everything in your life. And He's opening the doors He wants you to walk through and closing the ones that you thought were going to be perfect and amazing for your life. But He knew they'd destroy you. So just know He's not silent. He's very strategic. God does His greatest work where your eyes cannot see.
See, God is working for you. James 1:4, like I said, let patience have its perfect work. There's always that work in there, right? Are you doing any of it? No, you're sitting and being still. You're worshiping Him. You're even in that waiting season, you're still worshiping Him. The wait isn't just about what God is doing around you, it's what He's doing inside of you. Sometimes we may have a rocky heart, and He wants that heart to be soft, so you can truly take root of His Word. He's shaping your character, maturing your faith, and detoxing your motives. That's one of the hardest things. A lot of the times, we like to do things for ourselves, not for Him, not for His glory. See, some blessings are too heavy for who you are right now, for the person you are. So God uses waiting season like a spiritual gym. See, God won't give you what your character can't carry. God will never give you what your character can't carry. Yeah. See, God is fighting battles you don't see. Exodus 14:14, like I said, the Lord will fight for you. You need only be still. While you're pacing back and forth on the floor, wearing divots in the floor, worrying about something, God's pacing the battlefield for you. So just imagine that. He's up there fighting for you, battling for you, and you're sending a prayer and saying, Lord, why aren't you doing something? Why aren't you doing this for me? Why hasn't this happened for me yet? Just imagine that. Imagine doing something. It's like having a child. And you do everything for them. And they don't see everything you're doing. And they say, oh, why I want to do this? Why didn't you do that for me? Man, that's part of the patience that comes out. You got to have it. But some of the greatest spiritual victories of your life were won without you knowing there was ever a fight. You were sleeping and God was swinging. You were fast asleep in that bed and God was swinging in the battlefield, making sure you had everything you needed. While you were waiting, heaven was warring. Just know God's preparing a blessing for you. John 14:2-3. I go to prepare a place for you. He's already there, preparing that place for you. Make sure it's perfect for you. No one else. That's the beautiful thing. The man who created the entire universe. The man who did everything. Knows numbers on my head, your head, and everybody in the world. Numbers. Even the ones that fall out, thought it'd be trained. He knew they would. He's preparing a place, and He's warring for you. God prepares blessings before He releases them. He's lining up timing, people, resources, and opportunities. He's not just preparing you for the promise, He's preparing the promise specifically for you. Your blessing is being built while you're being broken in. It's like a good glove. God's teaching you to trust His timing. Ecclesiastes 3:11. He makes all things beautiful in its time. Like I said, if you were from the Bahamas and it was always in the 80s and it was beautiful year round, it was perfect and everything grew, all flowers pretty. You come up here around December, January time, you see nothing but sticks and a mud pit. You feel like, man, this is an ugly place. I don't know why people want to come here. Come see my tropical island. It's pretty all the time. But in His time, and this place will come springtime, come around April, this place will be alive, green, flowers everywhere, and my allergies giving me the worst time ever. See, God's timing is never late, but it's rarely early. Understand that it's rarely early. He waits until pride dies, fears break, and your heart is positioned to receive without losing blessing. If it came too early, it would crush you. If it came too late, it would miss you. That's why His timing is perfect. It's right on time. It's right when it should have happened. See, God's not slow. He's synchronized. So it's like ordering something online, right? You don't see the warehouse. You don't. They don't send you a picture of inside the Amazon warehouse where you just ordered that Christmas present for your kids, right? You don't see the workers or the process of getting that package in and wrapped up and taped up and shipped off. You just get your package is out for delivery, right? You get that message. You don't see the work that went into making the product, making sure it was exactly right, how it's supposed to be. You don't get to see how it was wrapped and bubble wrapped so it didn't break on the way there. None of that happens. You just get that awesome message that it's on the way to your house, it's on the way to your door, so it's already there. You waited for it. So just because I didn't see the process didn't mean it wasn't happening. Just because I didn't see them putting it in the box didn't mean it wasn't getting put in the box. So just because it's hidden doesn't mean it's halted. See, he works behind you to protect you. He works beside you to strengthen you. And he works ahead of you to prepare your way. Waiting is never wasted. It's woven. When God is silent, he's stitching a story you'll shout about later. So if that's what God is doing while we wait, then what does the enemy try to do during the same season? Because this is when a lot of the attacks happen. What are they doing behind the scenes? And most likely not behind the scenes, it's right in front of your face. Because waiting isn't only where God works, it's where the devil starts to whisper too. It's where he tries to weasel his way in. Next part's about warfare of waiting. Waiting is a battleground, not a break. Waiting seasons aren't soft seasons. They're spiritual war zones. Where God is working behind the scene, the enemy is whispering in the shadows. The devil attacks hardest when heaven seems quiet. See, silence from God is an invitation, but silence from God is also an opportunity for Satan to sneak in. See, the first attack he likes to use is doubt. He loves to use doubt. He loves to put doubt in your spirit. Loves to put doubt in your mind. The enemy plants doubt in the same soil God just planted the promise. And if you got that hard heart, that promise was never planted. It was just picked up by him, and now he's just got nothing but doubt on your heart. Doubt always starts with questioning God's voice, character, and timing. Why didn't you do it already? He's not listening to you. Everybody's heard that voice before. If the devil can't take your salvation, he'll definitely try to take your confidence. Since you're already washed in the blood and you're born anew, he's going to try to take your confidence, make you doubt. Doubt is always the enemy's doorway, his first attack, his way to get in, to hurt you. I can tell you this week I was hit with doubt hard as I sat in my booth. And we had a congregant leave. Why did I even have this put on my heart? Why am I standing up every Sunday? And my church didn't going fast. Then I had to stop and I had to wait. And I was like, Jacob, what are you writing your sermon on this week? Your sermon's on the waiting season. You're just in your season of wait. Don't let that voice come in. Don't let it come in. But then he always follows that doubt up with discouragement. Because he hits you with that, hey, maybe you're not supposed to be doing this. Maybe you just need to stop. Maybe you don't need to do it anymore. Stop doing it. Then when that doesn't work, he hits you right back with discouragement. See, Proverbs 13:12 always gives them to you, though. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. Hope deferred makes the heart sick. Discouragement is disappointment repeated until it becomes identity. Until you say, oh man, well this is who I am. The enemy wants you to interpret delay as defeat. He wants you to see where God's, it's not the time yet for all these seats to be filled. He wants you to see it as up. You're not supposed to be doing it. You're defeated. Sorry. Discouragement whispers, if God was going to do it, he would have done it by now. Maybe he changed his mind about you. Maybe you're not supposed to be doing this. Maybe you messed up. See, discouragement is the devil's attempt to define your waiting season.
That's his attempt to say, all right, cool. If doubt didn't work for you, you came to work smiling. I got you, buddy. You messed up, didn't you? Oh, you messed up. Oh. I think he changed his mind about you, Jacob. He don't want you to preach his word anymore. If you did, he'd have answered it already. Your congregation would be filled to the brim. You'd be in that new church already. You'd be, God, everybody would be coming to service and bringing someone.
You gotta look at him and say, no, this is my season of wait. And I'm waiting on the Lord. Next one he's gonna do and throw at you is gonna be distraction. It's gonna distract you. It's crazy. A lot of this stuff I'm writing, I wrote this week, it's all stuff that happened to me as I was sitting writing this. Because the distraction I had was my old cell phone. Just watch these TikToks. Just veg out, man. Look at the snow outside the window as it's coming down. You don't need to read your Bible. You don't need to write about this. No one's going to show up anyway. Distraction. See, 1 Peter 5:8 says it plainly. Be alert, your adversary, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking those to devour. Because he does. If the enemy can't defeat you, he'll distract you. He'll throw noise, busyness, temptation, confusion, anything that pulls your eyes away from Jesus. Anything at all. Like, good Lord, this week I probably saw more luxury cars come pick up kids. Brand new cars come pick up kids than I've seen in a long time. Like, man, must be nice. It was back to our first time meeting in church. Right? Must be nice. I caught myself saying that this week. I was distracted. The enemy was pulling my eyes away from what I should have been doing. Distracting me with worldly things like a friend with a new car. See, distraction delays destiny just like disobedience. As you're distracted long enough with world things, you're not going to listen to what he's telling you. Distraction is spiritual erosion, slowly wearing away at your focus. Number 4, though, fourth tag is distortion. John 8:44 says it plainly. He is the father of all lies. Satan is the father of all lies. He's the one who said it first to Eve. Come on, you eat this apple. That's why he didn't want you to eat it. You'll be just like him. You'll know good from evil, and you'll know. You'll be just like him. See, go off a little tangent here. Beautiful thing about God, and even in that moment, he was protecting us. He was protecting his creation because, yeah, we ate of the fruit, Adam and Eve. But he didn't throw us out of the garden for punishment. He didn't throw us from the garden into the desert and have to toil of the land as punishment. He did it out of grace. Because in that moment, we partook in the fruit and became like Satan, knowing the difference between good and evil. And if we would have ate the other tree, because there was another tree in that garden people like to forget, which was the tree of life. If we would have eaten of that tree in that exact moment, we would have been in the same boat Satan was. Forever cursed, not able to be redeemed. He was like, I don't want that to happen. I'm going to redeem them. And he did. That's why we're here today, talking about Christ. So, the enemy tries to distort the truth until it feels like reality. He twists circumstances to make God look absent or unfair. You know, it's looking at different churches in our community that have huge congregations. And I know they're not preaching the word for what the word is. That hits me, and it's a sore spot. You guys were here last week. I know y'all, that's a sore spot of mine, and seeing people go hear the word from a wolf in sheep's clothing. A false teacher who's teaching feel good and teaching his congregation to be nice. But we learned first week together that nice meant ignorance. Doesn't mean love. Never once does Christ look at anybody and say, hey, be nice to your neighbor. And he says, love your neighbor. Like I said, that week, if you loved me, you look me in the face and say, hey, look, you got coffee breath? You need to use some chewing gum. Oh, thanks, man. But if you were being nice to me, you'd be like, oh, yeah, you're such a great guy. You're so cool. Huh? It's good to meet you. Have a great Sunday. That's being nice. I told y'all don't be nice to me. Be honest with me and love me. But like I said, he twists those circumstances to make God look absent or unfair. You know, you go to some of these churches on Sunday and you're told that if you give your life to Christ, life's going to get easier and all your wishes will come true. Imagine that, and then you go into the season of waiting and you're stuck in that silence. The enemy has a playground there. He's got his door not just open, it's wide open, it's been kicked open. And he magnifies the wait and minimizes the promise. He says, look how long you've been sitting here. Look how long you've been waiting. Look, it's been 25. Now imagine Abraham will listen. It's been 25 years. He's not going to give you a son. Sarai, before she became Sarah, she laughed at the fact that he was going to bless her with a son. Laughed at the fact. See, Satan cannot create. Understand that. He can't create anything. He can only distort. He can only twist. See, the beautiful thing is Jesus gave us the perfect blueprint for the waiting season. When Jesus was in the wilderness. That's going to be our blueprint when we're in our waiting season. Jesus was led by the Spirit into the waiting wilderness. And then he was attacked. He was attacked by Satan. Think about it. The enemy used the same 4 tactics: doubt, discouragement, distraction, and distortion. But Jesus responded the same way every time. It is written. He always pointed back to the Word. He always pointed back to the Bible, to the Word. The waiting triggered spiritual warfare, but the Word won the war. The wilderness is where the Word becomes your weapon. I want you to understand that the waiting in that wilderness is where the Word of God, the living Word, becomes your weapon. There's nothing that can stand against you. Now, here's how we're going to fight in the waiting. How we can still wait, be obedient, and worship at the same time. We fight with Scripture. 2 Corinthians 10:5. Take every thought captive. Every little thought that comes in your brain that's got... Most of the time, you're sitting there and you have a thought pop in and you're like, where did that come from? That's not me. It most likely wasn't you. It wasn't you thinking that. It was the father of lies getting in there trying to distort your brain, to work on you. You fight with worship. Acts 16, Paul and Silas praised in prison. They sung, so much so it shook the prison doors, made the guard run away, and the doors fly open. They sung a worship song, even in prison. Fight with community. That's why we're here. If you're in a waiting season, you feel silent. My phone number is up on our website. Facebook Messenger is open. I'm always available. I sit in the booth all day. As long as so I'm always available.
He's easier to reach than me.
Yes. See, Ecclesiastes 4 says a cord of three strands. A cord of 3 strands. That's your community. That's a whole lot stronger than that one cord by itself. So if you're in that season of waiting, or you're hurting, you need someone to talk to, you need someone to vent to, I'm always available. And you fight with remembrance. Psalm 77. I will remember. Remember the times he came through with those promises. Remember the times he was there beside you. Remember Joshua 1:9. Joshua 1:9 is one of my favorite verses. It's actually my family's verse. And had a buddy of mine at work, Ernie. He came up to me. He actually goes to a Methodist, pretty large Methodist church here. He came up to me and said, "Now I'm feeling like devotional." And I have a supervisor there that he's not the nicest to me, which is okay. It happens. But he came to me and said, "Hey man, look, I was doing my devotional today. It was on Joshua 1:9. I want you to know what you're going through with him. He's with you. God's with you. Lord's with you." And he didn't understand that I was already going through the tests that I was going through all week that week. So when he came and he said that to me, he thought he was just ministering to me about what was going on at work. But in all honesty, he was ministering to me about what was going on in my life all week. So remembrance. See, if you don't speak to your soul, the enemy will. And he definitely will. See, it's like waiting alone in a dark parking lot. That's when shadows look bigger than they are. See, it always reminds me too, it's not just the parking lot, it's like going out for the first time right there at dawn, right before the sun comes up. It is the darkest in the woods in that moment. And I don't care if you're walking to your stand, you'll see Bigfoot in a tree. You're like, oh, everything looks scary. And you're like, oh man, there's a monster over there, there's a monster over there. You finally get to your stand, you're up there, and you're just like, oh, I want that sun to come up. I want that sun to come up. Then you hear what sounds like the biggest buck of your life running behind you. And it's a squirrel. See, the darkness didn't get smaller in that moment, but your faith got stronger. See, in that tree stand or in that walk, you knew the sun was going to come up. Your faith in that sun got a whole lot stronger to make sure all those little shadows were just shadows. See, the waiting room is where the devil tests your mind. He gets in and he's trying to distort. He's trying to say all sorts of things to you, make you feel bad. But it's also where God trains your spirit. See, if Jesus walked through the wilderness, that's the biggest thing too. They don't tell you this at churches either. When you finally turn your life over to Christ, you're going to go through a wilderness. You're going to be tested, and God's the one allowing it. God's allowing it to happen because He wants you to go through that. He wants you to walk it because He wants your faith to be strong. See, the waiting room that's right where where God trains your spirit. See, you can't stop the enemy from whispering at all. But you can stop listening. You can stop
listening to him. I can sit here and tell you that, hey, yeah, this prayer, and that you will never have devil will never come near you. That would be a lie. You're going to be attacked. You're going to be whispered to. He's going to try to distort. He's going to try to make you feel bad. But you cannot listen to him. Like in those moments that you're sitting, you're driving on the way to work, and you're just happy, and then all of a sudden anxiety hits you. Something whispers in your ear. That might not just be a whisper. It might be a thought that comes in your brain. A negative thought. Anytime you have a negative thought, I want you to just say, that's not me.
Because it's not me. Because it's not you. And it's not God. See, the waiting room is loud. Unless you tune your ears to heaven. Then you realize it's still. It's quiet. So, if the waiting room is a war zone, how do we make it through without losing heart? Without saying, you know what, this stinks. When I wasn't doing none of this, life was a little easier. I might have woke up with a headache every now and then. But let's talk about next what waiting develops. Well, we all want fruit. The fruit that only grows in the slow season. See, waiting produces maturity. James 1:4 says it. Let patience have its perfect work. Let patience have its perfect. It's like going fishing for the first time. You know, you're out there casting. My oldest son can attest to this. He used to hate fishing. Despise it. He never wanted to go. We hated it because every time we went, he'd never catch anything, and I catch something. Last time we went, he was the only one who caught something, caught a pretty decent sized largemouth bass, and he was excited. Good Lord, he was excited. He had to have patience. He had to trust the process of if I just cast this out and reel it again, cast this out and reel it again, cast this out and reel it, I'm gonna catch something. And he did. Patience paid off for him. So waiting isn't punishment. It's God growing you up, making you a mature Christian. There are some things God can't teach you in blessing, only in the in between. Now He can teach you gratitude, definitely, in blessing. But there's a lot more than just gratitude in a walk with Christ. Spiritual maturity isn't measured by how loud you shout on Sunday, but how steady you stay on Monday. There's a lot of people come to church on Sunday hungover from Saturday night and then go back to work. They're cussing their boss, they're cussing their neighbor, and they're doing all sorts of stuff. They make them bad people? No. I met plenty of good people that act that same way. But on Sunday you're gonna be shouting and praising and being mad. I mean, just being the star, standout Christian. Carry it in on Monday. The rest of that week, don't let the world get to you. See, waiting grows what rushing kills. See, Romans 5:3-4. Suffering produces perseverance. Perseverance, character. Waiting season reveals motives, strengths, weaknesses, and desires. When you're in that waiting season, when you're waiting for something to happen, you will find out a lot about yourself. You will. I mean, you can tell a lot about somebody. That's me. What I tell my daughters. You can find out a lot about a man by how they treat a waitress or a waiter. What they say to them when they come up to you and they've been waiting 5-10 minutes with an empty glass. You're gonna find out their motives. You're gonna find out their strengths and their weaknesses and desires. See, God trims pride, deepens humility, and strengthens integrity. Character is who you are when you're waiting longer than you want. When you're finally sitting there, you look up and sitting in this line. Go to the DMV. You'll find out a lot about yourself and what it feels like to wait. See, waiting shapes the person God can trust with the promise. It molds you into that person He needs you to be. See, waiting produces endurance. Hebrews 10:36. You need endurance. You do. For this race, you need it. Endurance is a spiritual muscle that keeps you walking when the answers don't come. Keeps that smile on your face when the day was bad. Keeps you coming on Sunday even if you're the only one here. Keeps me up here preaching when the cameras don't work. Right? You don't get endurance for miracles. You get it mornings where you don't quit. The wait may feel slow, but it strengthens you in ways you'll thank God for later. Endurance is faith with a backbone. See, waiting produces fruit. Galatians 5:22-23. And these are some of the examples of fruit that you're going to grow in this season. You're going to grow love, joy, peace, and patience. See, everybody looks at the word fruit. You're going to produce fruit. They think of it as salvations. They think of it as monetary. They think of it as worldly things. No, fruit is love, joy, peace, and patience. That's your fruit. You're going to be overly joyful. You're going to be telling 40 jokes like me at work. You're going to be making everybody laugh and smile. Someone's going to spill drinks on you, and you're going to be like, it's okay. I'll clean it up. It's all right. See, fruit doesn't grow fast. It grows faith. See, you don't get patience for praying for patience. You get patience from waiting longer than you plan. See, that's the biggest thing. People all the time. I'll give you a heads up. Whatever you do, don't go home and say, Lord, please give me patience, because He will do that. He will make sure your light comes up to where you have to experience and learn patience. But God, I pray the Lord, let me have patience. As soon as I did that, my boys started doing things they should never do. They're like, God, wait, stop doing that. And I had to take a breath and learn patience. See, the waiting season produces deeper peace, heavier joy, tender patience, stronger gentleness, and refined self-control. See, the slow season is the fruit season. The slow season is the fruit season. That's just like we saw springtime. You plant the plants, they grow up, they get beautiful. You see the big pretty flower. Then you have to wait for that flower to die, and then finally that fruit comes out. And it doesn't come out overnight. You don't go to sleep and wake up with a beautiful tomato. You go to sleep with a tomato with some pretty yellow flowers on it, and then go out to that tomato plant, and the flowers have fallen off. You're like, I've killed it. Oh no! And then within a couple weeks, you got a green thing, and you're like, I can't eat that. Don't think that'd be good. And then finally, it produces that beautiful red fruit. That's what you're doing. It's a slow season, but it is the fruit season. Waiting produces wisdom. Psalms 25, 4-5. Teach me your ways as I wait for you. In silence, God speaks strategy. And the delay, God gives you direction. In the stillness, God downloads what speed would have made you miss. See, when God slows your life down, it's because He's speeding your development up, your discernment up. Like we said, waiting produce dependence. John 15:5. This is really important. So if you're struggling with something, let me know this. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Apart from me, you can do nothing. Waiting kills that last piece of self-reliance, that last little bit of, I can do it if I try hard enough. I can make this work if I do it enough. You stop trusting your plan, what you planned out for your life, and start trusting His presence. You learn to pray before you act. That's the biggest thing. Pray about it. And then act. Listen before you leap, and trust before you try. See, waiting makes worship your first instinct. See, that's what I hope it is for you guys. After we leave today, this Sunday, you go home, you have something happen, instantly you're praying and praising Him. It's your first instinct, not your last resort. You're not praying to Him because, oh man, I got this huge test coming up. Oh man, I got this big interview coming up. Oh man, I got this big client I want to get. No, it's none of that. I want it to be your first instinct. The first thing you do every morning, you worship Him, you praise Him. You say, Lord, you woke me up. Amen. See, the waiting seasons are the wombs. Something is forming. It's growing. The longer the wait, the stronger the weight of glory on the other side. So the longer you've been sitting waiting, it could have been 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, a year, 2 years, or like Abraham, 25. The longer it is, the glory on the other side is much bigger. See, if God is developing you, it means He intends to deploy you. He intends to use you in His plans. See, God develops privately what He intends to display publicly. So, if you're building, so if waiting builds maturity, character, endurance, fruit, wisdom, and dependence, what happens when the waiting is finally over? See, this morning we learned the trial proves your faith. The waiting strengthens your faith. And God uses both to prepare you for the next seasons. Waiting is not weakness, it's not punishment, and it's not abandonment. Waiting is God's strategy to prepare you for what He has prepared for you. If God has you waiting, it's because what's coming is worth it. Know that. You're not being ignored. You're being incubating. See, delay isn't denial, it's development.